Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to start a minute early because we have a full agenda today and we want to get out of here before dark. May be hard to do with the time change. So let's start with the Spanish interpretation, which is available on the live simultaneously broadcast of the meeting. And then we'll go to Mr. Porter for his
very last one. So if I can ask you to rise. So November is not only a month where we honor our veterans, and I will honor today one of our veterans here, Mr. Howell, who is a airborne soldier. Airborne clerk type. Are there any other veterans I can recognize in the audience? Okay, and out there in television land, I hope that if you are a veteran, please know that we recognize you as well. Again, a month of Thanksgiving, that day is coming up. We are so blessed in this country. We are so blessed in this community. So as we salute our flag today, let's give that extra little bit of thanks for everything that I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mr. Porter. And now we will do roll call.
Okay, Mrs. Alvarez Flores.
Here.
Mrs. Cardy.
Here.
Mrs. DeWord is absent today. Ms. Ehrman.
Here.
Mrs. Frost.
Here.
Mr. Howell.
Here.
Mr. Porter.
Present.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to miss that. We do have some changes to the agenda today, so buckle up. After public comment, we will go to the presentation on artificial intelligence use in education. So we'll go to what is on the agenda is item number 9 will become item number 7. And then after that, we will go into our closed session for the real property negotiation conference. And so item number 7 on the agenda will become item number 8. And then we will go to president and board's comments. So item number 8 will become item number 9. Is that perfectly clear to everyone? Clear as mud. Any other? Nope, that's it. Okay. Then we will go to public comments. The total amount of time allowed is 15 minutes. The amount of time for an individual speaker typically is 5 minutes. However, with the board consent, depending upon the number of persons wishing to be heard, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed for individual speakers. And I have asked that given our agenda today and the number of speakers that are here, that each speaker limit themselves to 3 minutes. And I believe Anna is going to help us out with that. So who's first? Sophia Abula. Okay.
I'm Marcy Winograd. Thank you so much for the work that you do for our students. I'm so grateful to all of you. I'm a retired LAUSD English and government teacher, and I also worked as a literacy coach around the state for the Sacramento County Office of Education. As a retiree, I volunteer in my grandson's second grade classroom as a reading coach. So I am familiar with the world of education. And I'm here today just to give everybody a heads up to what's coming our way and to ask that you be vigilant on behalf of our children in pursuit of the truth in education. I'm talking about a newly enacted law, SB 1277, that establishes a California Teachers Collaborative on Holocaust and Genocide Education, which sounds like a very worthy endeavor, and it is. My concern is that the collaborative is a majority of organizations that are aligned with an Israel lobby group, the Anti-Defamation League. The Anti-Defamation League has a curriculum that it offers for free, and it will be inviting teachers to a symposium on their curriculum via county offices of education. The Marin County Office of Education is the office that is funneling funds to this collaborative, absent total oversight. I have no idea how these organizations get on it, how they get off, what the governance structure is. The bottom line is, however, that it is of great concern. I'm really knee deep in the curriculum here, Echoes and Reflections, it's called. And I'll just share with you some of my concerns about this curriculum. I was raised in a Jewish household. I'm a member of Jewish Voice for Peace. At one point in one of the lessons, it's a digital slideshow. It asks you, what is the meaning of anti-Semitism? And it breaks it down into three parts: anti, against, ism, a system of beliefs, and then it says Semite, and it describes a man in Germany in the 1800s who went on a campaign against discrimination against himself in leftist circles. Okay. And so you're still wondering, well, what's a Semite? And then you read on, if you did any research, you'd find out that a Semite is both Arabic and Jewish, that both Arabs and Jews lived in ancient historic Palestine and spoke a language that was dominated by six vowels. That's a Semite. So that just gives you an idea of the kind of inaccuracies that are embedded in this curriculum. In addition, it asks you to define anti-Semitism, and it includes, as a definition, bias against the state of Israel. Well, this is not true. Anti-Semitism is not anti-Zionism. Anti-Semitism is bigotry against Jews. Anti-Zionism, and there was a growing group, Jewish Voice for Peace, of anti-Zionists who reject Israel as a Jewish state, particularly as we watch the genocide it is conducting in Gaza. Thank you.
And we have three more. Sophie, would you like to go now?
Good evening. Good evening, everybody. My name is Sofia Fadila, and I am a Palestinian American citizen. I am also a resident of Santa Barbara for the past 30 years. I have two kids, Adam and Amir, and I am the founder of Kids with a Z, Kids in Disadvantaged Zone. I came back from a 5 months of a humanitarian mission in Egypt, dealing with injured kids and mother that lost their kids in the, of course, war or / genocide in Gaza. With an aching heart, and just found out that our governor, Wilson, he signed the 1277 granting or authorizing the ADL to train our kids in the, of course, our teachers, which transfer to our kids, in genocide. So it's such a sarcastic act. It's like a genocide supporter training teachers in genocide. And in addition to that, we didn't have any input from other Palestinian organizations to just being involved with it. It just was given strictly to the ADL. I don't know how they do that. I mean, they are ADL, they are literally a genocide, denial and pro-Israeli propaganda. Big time. So I am here. Came to this country. I have faith, and I know it was built in fairness and justice. And I am a living soul and outcome of this justice and fairness to be. And having an organization like the ADL, of course, being part of our educational system under a political agenda, it's very alerting. Because the end of the matter, our kids, the teachers will be transfer the information to the kids, and our kids is our responsibility to be able to get the right input from the right people without any political agenda, with full justice and fairness. Thank you for your time.
Sylvia Loden.
Hello, I'm Sylvia Agabekian Loudon, and I'm here to speak against the Genocide Education Training Program as well. My father was born in the Armenian quarter of Jerusalem. He was raised there and he fled the Nakba, eventually making his way to the USA and building a great life and a big family. But I still have family in the occupied West Bank. And for my family, I ask you not to contract with this training program until it includes scholars on Palestine, develops a transparent and accountable governance structure, and understand that at this point, it seems that these programs are meant to indoctrinate our children into the ADL beliefs, such as there is no ethnic cleansing or genocide going on in Gaza right now. They also believe that anyone who criticizes Israel is being anti-Semitic, which is not true. And they also promote colleges who pass resolutions against boycotts of Israel. Boycotting is a standard way of doing things now to protest things, and that it goes directly against the First Amendment, our freedoms in this country. Our students need unbiased education about past and current genocides. They deserve much better than this biased and harmful program. My father did not like to admit he came from Palestine. I believe this stemmed from the prevailing sentiment that Palestinians are crazy, savage people who are somewhat less than other people in the world. The vast majority of Palestinians are people who just want basic respect and to live their lives in peace. Please do not allow the ADL and this genocide education program to paint Palestinians as subhuman. We can fight hate in better ways than this.
And Mona Terry. Maria?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Hello, I'm Maria Montero, and I'm here to talk about SB 1277 too. I think it's extremely important to teach about genocides. Of course, it's like genocides are like terrible things that have happened in our history as a humanity, and they should be taught in an unbiased way, and also including the one that is happening right now, the one that is taking thousands of lives in this exact moment. And I think it's very concerning that this collaborative of teachers have organizations like the Anti-Defamation League that even though the ADL is integrated in the community doing several works, they have a history and an ongoing pattern of attacking social justice movements led by community of color, queer people, immigrant, Muslims, Arabs, and other marginalized groups. So we are asking that you guys do not contract with the collaborative until they drop all these organizations that are biased and that they conflate anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism. And include scholars on Palestine and Israel genocide in Gaza and develop a transparent and accountable governance structure. Thank you.
Okay, we will now move right on to revised number 7, the presentation on artificial intelligence use in education. And actually, this was requested by the board initially, and we are thrilled that Helen Barger is here and going to lead the way. And then after their presentation, they are going to depart as they have another presentation right on top of this one, which is one of the reasons the agenda is put in the order it's in. So.
Well, we want to thank you for that because I know that Tiffany and Lauren have been preparing for today's training of their teachers when the teachers get out. So as you can see, today's presentation is called Artificial Intelligence in Education in 2024. And we feel okay with that title, given that there's only about 6 weeks left in 2024. On November 30th, 2022, not even 2 years ago, OpenAI launched ChatGPT, and it was the first interactive chatbot that could really learn within the complexities of human language and interaction. And our team immediately got to work at our next CNI meeting. We had been reading The Digital Mindset already earlier that year, and we had been doing work in computer science for several years. But it's an ongoing struggle to stay up to date with all that is happening in AI. So we'd be giving you a very different presentation 2 months from now. But the AI integration in education is a shift that really demands more than just passive acceptance or futile resistance. And like all technologies, its impact is both immediate and evolves over time. And so as Lauren and Tiffany were putting this together today, it was a real challenge to say, how do we capture where we are? And that ongoing challenge of harnessing its power while mitigating its downside. But also what you'll see today is that we've given quite a lot of thought to not only to whether it will change education, but how we will have a role in shaping that change so that in our classrooms, we have effective, equitable, and engaging learning environments. And most of all, that we equip students who will become ethical leaders and engineer its power in ways that align with their values and desires for the kind of life they want, not only for themselves, but for all of us in the future. So I'm very excited to introduce to you two of our directors from the CNI division who do this and 82 other things. And I think that Tiffany's going to start with us. But Tiffany Carson is Director of School and District Support, and Lauren Aranguren is Director of Equitable Learning Systems. And I'll turn it over to Tiffany right away. Donald will bring up the computer.
Well, thank you, Ellen, and good afternoon, Superintendent Salcido and board members. We are so excited to be here with you today talking about artificial intelligence. AI has been around for a while now, and it's impacting our communities, our professional lives, our personal lives. And as we move through the presentation today, we're really going to look at three different kind of buckets of information. First, a high-level overview of what AI is. Then, more specifically, we'll talk about AI in education, and then we'll finish up with some information about how we're providing support for educators and students in the era of AI. We know that you have printed copies of this slide deck in front of you and a handout with some key terms and abbreviations that we hope is helpful. And we'll also leave some time at the end of our presentation for some quick questions. Okay. So here we go. What is artificial intelligence? We've had AI in our lives for a while now, and AI is a branch of computer science that really strives to create machines that can perform tasks and complete things that usually we would think of as requiring human intelligence, such as learning, decision-making, and problem-solving. And the form of AI that we most commonly experience is called machine learning. So that's taking algorithms and data and looking for and learning preferences or patterns. So think about decision trees or cause and effect scenarios, structured data models that are used to make predictions based on current and historical conditions. So we experience machine learning when we're using tools like Google Maps to figure out, how long is it going to take me to get somewhere? Or when Netflix is like, you've watched 15 seasons of The Great British Bake Off, and maybe you should watch these other baking shows, right? So, it can be both useful and sometimes a little creepy. And then there's also deep learning. So this is a more complex subset of machine learning that is using, again, predictions and probability, but this time using unstructured data. So this could be images, it could be text, audio, and it's all being processed through what are called layered neural networks that consider multiple factors and nuances. So deep learning is what enables our iPhones to do facial recognition and unlock. It's also what allows Google Translate to now work in real time. And it's also what is helping our cars drive themselves, which is also, again, useful and creepy. But the way that we're interacting with AI now has really changed with the advent of generative AI. And again, like deep learning, it's using vast data sets, huge amounts of information. But generative AI allows us as individuals to actually interact with artificial intelligence through prompts. And it will create new content like text or images or music based on these patterns that it's learning from existing data. So we're most familiar with ChatGPT, but there's more and more platforms daily that are being built around this new generative technology. And chatting with a chatbot like ChatGPT is really different from using a search engine, which sometimes is confusing because now if you Google something, you'll see like AI results coming up. But if you are asking a search engine for information, what it will do is it will give you a list of links that were pre-existing, things that were already created. But if you're asking generative AI a question, what it's doing is it's going through all of those links, looking at all of that information, processing the different things that people have already created, and then generating something new in response to a prompt. So it's very different than what you experience when you're doing a search. So this was our attempt to show you how this works in a very simple way. But AI's most basic information comes from simple bits of information known as data points, and that can be text, images, or symbols. These data points then combine into data sets that represent more complex elements, but data sets alone don't generate new information. The way that happens is as humans, we are collectively uploading these data sets into machines, and the machines process and connect the information in the data sets in hidden layers. As the machine processes and transmits the data sets, it tracks the patterns and structures, learning from the data, and we call this training the machine. New information is produced, and based on the combined and processed data sets, just like a learning network in a human brain, we refer to this creative machine learning process as a neural network. So then what does this actually mean for us, right? So what we know is that generative AI has the ability to, I'm missing something. So what we know is because as humans, we are training the machines are amplifying our humanity, right? So everything that we bring as humans into this technology is what it is going to be generating as part of the output. So if the data that we are entering into an AI is inaccurate, biased, or problematic, then the AI is also going to be inaccurate, biased, or problematic. It's amplifying both our intent and our impact. So we wanted to create this space for us to really briefly experience some ChatGPT together. So if you'll give us a minute, I'm going to swap over to ChatGPT. And maybe. Yes. Okay. So just quick show of hands. How many of you used ChatGPT before? A few? Okay. We're all here learning together as friends. So as a educator might use this, you have to think about it as having a conversation. So here's an example of a chat that we've seen and experienced some of our educators using. So I'm a 6th grade teacher in California. My students have been studying ancient Egypt for the past 2 weeks, and I want them to complete a cumulative project that helps students showcase their learning can you help me generate a choice board of projects that my students could choose from? So let's see what it generates. You have to give it a moment to think. I sometimes wonder if it actually needs to think this long or they do it just to make us feel a little bit better. And so you'll notice coming up with all of these different possibilities of activities that our students could complete. But as an educator, I'm looking at this and maybe I have some more questions, or I look at the options and I think, I need a little bit more detail. So already it's prompting me, is there anything else that you would like to know? And I'm going to say, yes, I've got 6 students in my class who are English learners and 4 students who have IEPs. For each of the options on the choice board, I would like details about how I could maybe differentiate or provide different ways to support my students. And I hit enter, we wait again. And they'll start adding all of these different things for me. And these conversational turns, I can keep interrogating, I can keep asking the bot. So I might say, how could I generate a rubric that I can use for all of these projects? And it will generate a rubric for me. I can say, can you translate the directions for these prompts into Spanish for me or Tagalog? And it will do it. I can also say, can you add some of the language of the California content standards into this rubric? I want students to be able to know explicitly, not just implicitly, what the standards and their learning targets are, and it will generate. Now, there are a few things that I do want us to kind of note from this experience. Thank you. And that is, thanks. As the person putting in the prompts, I am still what is called the human in the loop. I still have to evaluate what is being returned to me. We talk with our educators about +1. You should not just take what is given at face value and be like, this is the first thing I got, let's run with it. But the power of this is if a teacher was looking to develop all of these things on their own without ChatGPT, that would have taken an enormous amount of time. But this gives our educators a starting point, a place to work off, iterate, think about that maybe they wouldn't have had before. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Warren.
Thank you, everyone, and thanks, Tiffany, for that. We've gone over a high-level understanding of what artificial intelligence is, and now Tiffany has started to show us how we might pivot towards AI in education. We're going to show, oops. So it's all good. Thank you, my friend. Okay. So we are sharing with you some of the grounding and guidance that we have used. These are just a few of the publications that we have used to inform our learning about AI in education over the past 2 years. Developed by teams of educators, researchers, policy leaders, technologists, and community members, these resources guide us towards centering students, educators, and families as we navigate the world of education in this new era of AI. These trusted government and nonprofit sources include the U.S. Department of Education, the California Department of Education, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO, the Computer Science Teachers Association, and teachai.org. We want to share a key visual with you that communicates essential principles and considerations when making decisions about AI in education. First published last year, this figure comes from the U.S. Department of Education Office of Technology's Artificial Intelligence and the Future of Teaching and Learning. The outer ring of the loop establishes the considerations for the responsible use of AI and that they live within the context of our existing educational system. We know that AI and other technologies continue to grow and surface, and there is an urgent call there is an urgent call to prepare students to use, criticize, and create new tools. Given this, we start by centering students and teachers rather than the technology. This means creating conditions so that students and teachers' creativity and curiosity are supported and amplified by their interactions with AI, rather than limited or boxed in by it. Additional aspects of AI inform responsible interactions with it. They're represented by these petals on the graph. I'll pause and give you a moment to read the elements on the different petals. And I wonder, as you're looking at those petals, are these considerations that have come up for you, wonderings that you've had about artificial intelligence in education? And I find it really comforting, I think we do, that these organizations are thinking about those same issues that we're grappling with. Finally, this figure is completed by another ring representing that concept that Tiffany raised earlier of humans in the loop, which is especially important in education. Humans in the loop means more than fact-checking AI. By keeping humans in the loop, the algorithms, data, and predefined objectives of AI are balanced with personal experiences, emotions, and intentionality. Human involvement is crucial if we are to center people rather than the technology.
So with these considerations also come tensions with AI in education. There are some incredible potential benefits and also some potential risks, which can represent some of the fears that we have. So on the one hand, AI can support educators and students with content development, adapting and differentiating resources. We just saw a small example of that. However, this can raise concerns about plagiarism and academic dishonesty, the navigation between content regurgitation and authentic novel creation. Another risk of AI is the diminishing of student and teacher agency and accountability. While conversely, a potential benefit is its ability to provide timely and effective feedback and assessment design. Another potential AI benefit technologists often discuss is the opportunity for tutoring and personalized learning assistance. And what educator wouldn't want the ability to personalize deep learning for ourselves and our students and provide feedback instantaneously? But in order to personalize our learning, we have to share more of our personal details and information with the AI, which elevates a genuine concern about compromised student privacy and the policy and the potential of unauthorized data collection. AI can assist us by serving as a thought partner, supporting our creativity and the creative process. But when AI is relied upon too heavily, we fear that students and educators will abandon critical thinking and the sense making that helps us grow as learners and evaluators of content. And so, as we discussed earlier, AI is trained on the data it is given, amplifying our humanity. And our fears about over-reliance on AI are also linked to concerns that AI will perpetuate societal bias and widen inequities without the critical thinking that is needed to reflect, interrupt, and redirect AI input and output. And yet, as educators, we cannot deny that we see AI's immense impact and potential for ourselves and our students' futures by supporting operational and administrative efficiency. So AI in education is not a singular benefit or risk. It's not an either or. We're constantly in a place of tension, balancing between the two. And there's another tension I want to highlight that wasn't reflected on the prior slide, and that is the tension that educators feel between wanting to be informed and current with what's happening and the fact that this technology is just happening faster than we can keep up. And that can lead to fatigue and overwhelm. So on this slide, we're going to quickly look at some of the tools that educators are using, but know that these are only a representative few, and there are many currently, and there's many more to come. So there are 3 categories of AI tools, which we are currently seeing educators engage with. The one that is most commonly discussed are chatbots, So again, we've had a moment to experience these. We also have platforms. So these are places where an educator can log in, and instead of having access to unlimited data sets to work with, these platforms have sometimes curated the information that's available, tailoring it specifically to educators, pedagogy, content standards across the states, and supporting the use of very specific prompts that educators would want to use. And then there's also extensions or embedded features. So as we look at some of these platforms, you might have used or heard of Nearpod. Some of you might have used Canva in your professional life. These are tools that have been around for a while. And now that generative AI is around and available, we're seeing these being embedded, AI features being embedded into some of these platforms as well. All right. So the public release of generative AI has excited and commanded our focus over the past 2 years. Still, AI is just a tool, and its rise was not unexpected. Technological tools such as AI are constantly emerging and evolving. As we shared earlier, AI is a branch of computer science, and competency in artificial intelligence is closely connected to and supported by competency in computer science. In 2016, the California Department of Education initiated development of the California Computer Science Standards, recognizing that computer science is an essential component of a broad and comprehensive education containing necessary foundational concepts and corresponding practices that generate opportunities for success in our increasingly competitive, globally connected economy. Computing systems, thank you, are complex tools which have the power to facilitate personal and creative expression, as illustrated in the National K-12 Computer Science Framework. If computers are both the paint and the paintbrush, computer science education creates the artists. Digital technologies are largely responsible for the global connectivity of the economy and the impact of computer science on multiple areas of the human endeavor, and it continues to increase rapidly. The CS standards aim to turn California students from technology users into technology creators. Building upon that foundational work in computer science, and close on the heels of the California Computer Science Standards adoption, in 2018, AI for K-12, a partnership between the Computer Science Teachers Association and the Association for Advancement of Artificial Intelligence, began developing the 5 big ideas of artificial intelligence. And they are perception, representation and reasoning, learning, natural interaction, and societal impact. These support teaching and learning in a world where artificial intelligence in many forms was already ubiquitous. These resources were created prior to ChatGPT, which Tiff just took us through, prior to its release, when broad public exposure to generative AI occurred. The question is, why is computer science still crucial for students if AI can code? And there's some big reasons, and it's because AI isn't magic. It needs human expertise and guidance. AI is not perfect. It needs human oversight, that whole idea of humans in the loop that we've been talking about. AI will not replace the need for computer scientists, those who are going to supervise, oversee, and create artificial intelligence and the other technologies to come. And AI needs human creativity and domain expertise. And AI can code, but there's more to computer science than code. We know, right, that AI is not going away, and it will continue to iterate and propagate. And we know that AI needs and will continue to need humanity.
As educators, our calling and duty is to develop human intelligence so that humans may use AI-based technologies in purposeful and productive ways. Released September 4th, right? So just 2 months ago, a little more than that, the AI competency framework developed by UNESCO highlights aspects of AI that are crucial to students. A human-centered mindset, we've been talking about that today. Ethics of AI, AI techniques and applications, AI system design, and this is our ad, AI for learning. It's crucial for students to know how to use AI for their own learning. This framework shows the progression of student skills in each of these aspects as they go from acquiring to deepening to actually creating AI tools and other kinds of artifacts that impact the use of AI. Considering the framework and how to transition, and it provides us it provides educators a way to transition from the theoretical to the reality of what it looks like for students to become competent in the use and creation of AI. Again, so that they are not just consumers of artificial intelligence, but producers of and with artificial intelligence, as well as developers of AI policy. In addition to organizations like UNESCO, California lawmakers recognize that educators, students, and families need frameworks, supports, and plans to address AI in education in the future. In September, Governor Newsom approved California Assembly Bill 2976, mandating that AI literacy be incorporated into curriculum frameworks for mathematics, science, and history social science when they are next revised after January 1st. The bill stipulates that AI literacy be included in its evaluation criteria when the state board next adopts instructional materials for those same subject areas, and also provides a definition of AI literacy.
So, with all of the unknowns and the rapid pace of change in this space, what support is there for educators in the era of AI? Well, just as UNESCO put out an AI competency framework for students, they also published an AI competency framework for teachers. And you may notice that the aspects and progressions for teachers are similar to those of the students, but the details about the progression may look a little different. And these aspects are the things that we're working on and considering as we think about our role in the C&I division for building the capacity and the capability of our educators. The first step that we took in our AI journey was to engage in our own learning. And you've heard a little bit from Ellen about our book dive with the digital mindset. And a number of us in the C&I division are also participating in our own learning workshops and taking coursework in AI to make sure that we're at least keeping pace. And in addition to our own internal learning, we are learning with and alongside the different communities that we interact with. So some of you were able to attend the CellCon lecture that was offered through UCSB Arts and Lectures in partnership with this office. And we've also had opportunities to learn through the Cal MSCS grant work, through subject-specific committees, and the CISC committee and the California County Superintendents. And in turn, we've then offered workshops and learning opportunities for educators in our county. That's beginning last year and continuing this year. So this has included in-person workshops for established leaders on developing AI policy, offering free monthly after-school virtual sessions covering different aspects of AI, supporting hundreds of educators through the Seasons of CS grant, supporting new and developing administrators through CASC, our Clear Administrative Credential Program, and then also some contract-specific work for school sites who have requested it. One of my favorite things that we did last year was create and publish monthly exploration challenges. These challenges take about 10 to 20 minutes to complete, meet state compliance laws around data privacy and security, and inspire the use of AI in a classroom setting. So We are not making new exploration challenges, but you can access all of them through our webpage, sbceo.org/AI. So as we close our time together, we want to highlight some of the key takeaways that we hope you've heard in our presentation. One of them is the emergence and rapid development of generative AI is both a catalyst and an opportunity for transforming teaching and learning. AI can enhance teaching and learning, but must be approached with caution to avoid risks. Beyond humans in the loop, we must center human intelligence and creativity in the age of AI. It is crucial that our students are positioned to be not just consumers, but creators of AI and future technologies. Educators are grappling with how to create the conditions so that student potential is not limited or boxed in by their interactions with AI, but amplified by their interactions with AI. And decisions that we are making now will impact future generations. And everybody is doing the best they can to figure it out. So we'll now pause briefly to answer any questions or follow-ups you might have.
Mr. Porter.
Yeah, so you kind of alluded to it, but I guess one of the biggest things that scares me is if you expose our students or teachers' personally identifiable information to an AI agent, what are the risks for that? I mean, everything is processed off-site, right? Everything goes to the cloud and is processed there, as does the information of our students, teachers, and everybody else. So as a board, we're thinking, you're doing your part, we need to be doing our part up here as we look down the road, looking at whatever kind of academic regulations, all of those kind of things we need to create. Really hard to do right now because we're all just trying to figure it out. But I think that's something for the board to ponder, and I'm sure we'll be supported by CSBA and everybody else to figure that out. But it truly is the great unknown. So as I look at one end of the spectrum, I see Elon Musk's human-looking robots with this overlaid on them becoming amazingly human. But then I talk with a chat bot that sounds amazingly, pardon the word, I would never apply it to human, but stupid. It's like, I don't know how we're going to get from chat bot to that other thing, but it's kind of interesting to watch. But thank you. That's a great presentation.
Joe.
Just a comment, really impressive presentation. And it would have been so easy. I don't know if it would have been easy for ChatGPT to create this, but to use an old term to mail it in, I think you could have successfully completed the assignment by doing so much less than you did so much more. And it just the way it flowed in the presentation, it was very, very good.
Oh, unmute, my dear. Is there a parent component to this or public outreach so that parents won't think their kids are cheating and or how to oversee this and guide them? Just throwing it out there.
It's definitely, it's definitely, I'm so glad that you brought that up because having that parent voice and awareness is so important. And we're seeing our districts grapple with that. I've seen there'd be parent workshops on this. I know that schools have started looking at, and districts have looked at putting out some policy. There's policy that we call big P policy, and then there's like little P policy, the things that teachers do in their classrooms to kind of frame some of that. And I think it's coming. We need to make sure that as educators, we're working in partnership with our families, and AI is really, it's a community thing, right? It's not just in education. So, yeah.
And I'll just add on to say that at a statewide level, both through the Seasons of CS and also through the Cal MSCS grant, There is a real focus on family and community engagement in all of these areas in math science and computer science and including artificial intelligence. So it's coming.
Another thing too, it feels very comforting to know that the kind of office is needed in a moment. Because if you do the
I'm sorry. Thanks again to County Ed for what I'm calling meeting the moment, because this is an area I think that it's really easy to become terrified and to push it away, and there's a lot of mistrust around information processing. So thank you for giving us this head start, and you're right, we're all learning together. I think parents are a really important component. They need to be reassured as well. Thanks.
I want to iterate the thank you for the presentation. I really appreciate how comprehensive you provided the information of the overview, and it's also as Mary Beth Carty mentioned, being able to meet the moment and speak to what SBCEO is doing in-house to make sure you're being relevant with AI. The one question that I had goes back to the question or the issue regarding the tensions of all the great things that we could do with AI versus some of the downfalls, so to speak. And in regards to possible plagiarism and things like that, what are some of the guardrails that are in place now within the district that teachers have to ensure that that's not happening or to lessen that impact?
So we're seeing variance in our districts at where they are and the extent to AI use. So we know that sometimes the initial urge is just shut it all down. And we're also seeing that one of the things that we talk to our educators about is how to create lessons and opportunities so that you aren't able to answer in a way with the AI. Some people sometimes wonder about there are platforms that are like AI checkers, and we know that they are not accurate. And often there's a desire to go to them as a simple fix, and we can unintentionally harm students. So again, it's looking for other ways to have students work and consider AI. There's always been cheating, right? When the calculator came around, everybody thought it was going to be terrible. When the internet came around, everybody thought, well, how are students going to navigate this now that they have all this information at our fingertips? So I think this is part of why pedagogy is changing, because we're going to have to rethink how we're asking students to demonstrate their knowledge in a way that I don't want to say AI proof, but kind of AI proof.
Yeah.
That was more than we could have hoped for in the way of a presentation, truly. And I really appreciate that this is a section of what you're doing out with our other schools and with our districts and with the teachers, because that bringing everyone up to a base level and then continuing to build on that and grow is going to be what's going to make us all survive this and understand it, unlike the generation that still has their grandchildren programming their television for them. So, this is much better. I just have a fundamental, as I don't want an answer on this, I just want to go on the record as saying, to me, it's an oxymoron, artificial intelligence. I mean, it just, I have a problem with that. I think it should have been called something else. It might have given it more credibility. So thank you very much. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Gee, you're gonna come back just to monitor me. Anyway.
I want you to notice that Donald, we're doing it so often, he has a laminated sign. Thank you. Very classy.
Very classy, yes. Okay, here we go. Going to item number, previously item number 7, now item number 8 on the agenda. And this is a closed session item, so I hereby close our meeting. I call this meeting of the Santa Barbara County Board of Education back to order. We just completed our closed session, and now we will go on to item number 8, which is now item number 9, president and board comments. And I just want to start with, I attended the Salute to Teachers event on Saturday, November 2nd, and it was just lovely, 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 lovely event, evening. Couldn't have been nicer. And that's just a wonderful evening to see the teachers that were acknowledging and their families, and the mentors especially. And the new teachers, oh my gosh, the enthusiasm and it's like they're going to set the world on fire. It was amazing, amazing. So I had asked each of our board members if they would like to make any special remarks today in recognition of the fact that this is the end of an era and the beginning of an era. And so I'm going to start. Mary Beth, would you like to start?
Yes, I'm happy to start. I want to address my first comment to Michelle in the hopes that she'll be watching this video. And I just want to thank her for sharing her divergent perspective on this board. I learned a lot from Michelle. She dug deep. She did the work to substantiate her positions and her opinions. And we may have voted differently on items, but we shared a lot. We shared a love of family, wine. And ironically, coincidentally, we both have some of the cutest grandkids on the planet. And we shared that. Michelle has been through unthinkable loss. She's been through some medical maladies, and yet she still showed up fully prepared. And that takes courage and determination. And I truly believe she cares very deeply about our students, and it shows. Michelle, if you're watching, my thoughts are with you and your family during this very difficult legal hearing that you're experiencing today, and wish you well. For Bruce, you brought another very valued perspective, and as a veteran, I completely enjoyed your moving and creative preambles to the Pledge of Allegiance for 4 years. I especially appreciated serving on the board policy committee with you and your ability to distill reams of policy papers into very succinct intent. And we're always able to provide a quick path to the way forward in alignment with SCBA. And you led the committee with efficiency and purpose. We value. On the board salary committee, I especially appreciated the fact that you quickly summed up the inequity and made the motion to right-size the superintendent's salary. You caught that right away, and later to grant her the adjustment in alignment with negotiations. So that's, in my mind, financial acumen meets humanity. And you saw the need and did it. So best of luck to you as you move closer to family. I'll miss you. Mr. Howell, I've served on this board with you for about 11 of your 25 years, and I've never seen you at a loss for words. You have an uncanny ability to adhere to policy and protocol and strict legal code while fully empathizing with our families in crisis during numerous inter-district transfers and at least one expulsion hearing we did together. Those are really difficult things. You clearly have the heart and the heart.
Having personally written congratulations. And students of group that tried one that you are graduating. Your integrity, intellect, and humor have shown through on every meeting. And
Making our work a little easier. It's better. Wasn't my fault. Wasn't my fault. Making our work a little easier. Also a lot more fun. You treat the shifting face of board members and colleagues and staff and guests with the highest degree of courtesy and respect. And you've held the institutional memory of this organization for a quarter of a century. That's a lot. As sorry as I am to see you go, I would say you earned those many, many granola bars you've consumed here. I think I hear the ocean calling. I know your bike awaits, and those grandkids aren't getting any younger, though you seem to be. Thank you for your loyalty, your allegiance, your service, and your friendship. And you have not seen the last of me. Can I also add that I'm jubilant that Nadra retained her seat, and congratulations to both Vida and Nadra, their terms.
And speaking of Deidre and Nadra, Vida and Nadra. Yeah, apparently, see, Anna, we're splitting these two up, okay? Between the two of you, would you like, one of you like to say a few words?
yes, I will. I'm the new person on the block here, so my perspective were.
Unmute. Go again, what I've learned and what I will contain and what I will take away with me. Joe, I kid you about those good vibes, but that is how I remember our interactions and our conversations. There's always a good vibe with good knowledge, but you're always a fantastic listener. And I watch you listen so that I can watch your face and move toward reflection and ideas about what it is that's so important that I need to be listening to, because I'm gaining lots of knowledge here from each one of you. And so I thank you for that. And I thank you for the 25 years. And if you ever peek at us on the TV and you see something we're not doing, it's probably me that needs a reminder. So please remind me. As we move forward, I thank you again. I'll miss you because I only had a very short time with both of you, with all three of you. But I do look forward to wishing you the best in your future. You have a lot to do still. So thank you. Bruce, I always respected and honored your directness. I cherish that because I'm finding I'm stealing that a little bit and just kind of moving to just the quickness of a quick idea or just not so long conversation about what I'm trying to say. There is a splendid tone to what you say. There is honor in what you deliver. There is so much joy when you smile and you give us the message from your heart. So I appreciate that. And again, I'm learning and I'm going to take some of those things with me because I'm going to be here another 2 years. Thank you, Maggie. And I've enjoyed every moment. I've enjoyed every encounter. The best is yet to come for you, I know. So thank you. And Michelle, you're out there. Thank you very much for your preciseness. I was honored to sit next to you the first few times I came aboard and looked at your meticulous notes and felt naked because I needed a model to look at so that I could contain and organize some of the things that needed to be important as I did the work here on this board with all of you. The best of luck to you. I will be saying extensive prayers, just a positive energy.
and it's going to be a void not to have you aboard. And you need to know that because as the new one on the block, I learned a lot in a short time. So thank you. Thank you, all three of you.
Wow, how do I go after that? But the first thing that came to mind when, oh, well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
All right, I just did yours. The first thing that came to mind is parting is such sweet sorrow because it's been such an honor to serve on this board with you all. And I'm gonna start with Joe. I think of you as the quintessential man of the year because you are always going the extra mile, volunteering, supporting causes that you believe in, both in your professional and in your personal life. And you have this list of accolades. And I think the one action that can exemplify your heart and your mind and what you bring is your diligence and writing letters for every single graduate in the 25 years that you've been on this board. I mean, that just says so much right there. And I'm humbled by your character, by your workout routine. I'm still trying to catch up with that. And I'm just really, truly thankful for your guidance and your friendship and being able to serve on the board with you this time. And Bruce, I am so appreciative of your thoughtful approach and your unwavering ability to stand up for your values. And at the same time, you have a wisdom to listen to other people's point of view and incorporate that into your perspective, if that makes sense. And some of our conversations, especially the ones where we have disagreed, have been so invaluable to me because I've learned that it is possible to reach a common ground. And even while you're agreeing to disagree on specifics and to be able to maintain a level of respect and integrity and human decency with everyone is just, it's such a inspiration for me. And all of the eloquent words that you have before the Pledge of Allegiance are always great reminders for me to keep in mind our community members, especially veterans and many of those unsung heroes in our community. So thank you. I'm going to really miss you. And then lastly, for Michelle, who isn't able to be here today, I just want to say that I really admire your tenacity and commitment for fighting for what you believe. And to Vita's comment, I was like just continually impressed with the thorough review of board materials and the level of preparation that you have for every board meeting. And a lot of your inquiries provided healthy board discussions, which were so valuable and led to many positive outcomes. And I'm really sorry that I wasn't able to say this to you in person, but if you're able to watch this after, just really thank you for everything that you brought to the board and wish you and your family nothing but the best during this time.
I would like to congratulate Vita on winning her uncontested election to an abbreviated 2-year term on the board. You are certainly a valued resource. Now you have 24 months to get ready for your next election. And Nadra, congratulations on your very successful election to your first full 4-year term on the board. And the abbreviated time that you have been on the board, you have already demonstrated a clear and knowledgeable voice covering many perspectives of our work. Well done. And to Michelle, thank you so much for raising the visibility of SBCOE within CSBA through your participation on the leadership team of CCBE. While on the board for 1 term, you accomplished a great deal. And to Bruce, my buddy, You have shown this board how clear and concise communication can facilitate discussion, as well as the necessity of being a good listener. Thank you, Bruce, for your service on this board. And Joe, for this. I wish I had the ability to adequately express the appreciation I have for you, Joe, for what you have contributed to this board as an active participant in our work. The only thing left for me to do is mic drop.
Did you practice it?
Yes. Yes, I did. Susan, would you like to go next?
I so appreciate that. Thank you so much. You know, I consider service on this board, your service on the board, all of you, all seven, one of the most honorable and precious because it is of service and it is of service of children. So I just have such admiration and respect for all of you and appreciate how hard you work together, but that we have such a unique relationship as well. And we've come a long way, and every month it seems like I usually use baseball analogies, but I keep thinking of a football analogy where you just you quarterback together, yard by yard, every month. And you keep coming back and we keep doing it and we make that touchdown for children as we go. And I've just really felt that cadence over each month with each of you. You know, there's only been a finite number of trustees over the whole history of the County Board of Education. And in looking back to 1999, with Joe, you've worked with, we've had collegiality with 21 trustees. Yeah, 21 trustees. And I think about, I mean, I won't list them all, but from Bill Carty to Roger and Helen Hill to, you know, Bert Peter to Peter McDougall to Maggie Daney. I mean, and then all of you. Every single board member has served with such an elegant signature. You know, it's really your own signature that you put on your service. And so I thought about, Bruce, I thought about your signature. And, you know, and your colleagues, the board has already said so much, but, you know, the fact that when you came in with such military leadership and service, you brought that to the board each and every time you were here. I really appreciate your appreciation for ceremony and formality. I think it's really important. I so appreciate it. I think a signature you brought was that you're married to an incredible person who has served as a school nurse, even for SBCEO. And that really, you brought that forward. When you started, we were online. The board meetings were online because we were in COVID. And I really appreciated that you had Jeanette as a partner to help shape how we're going to come back to school. That's a big part of your signature, and that you served as a board president for San Ynez Valley, a basic aid school district. That was something that was really important that you brought. And your decision making based on the law and order with humanity together always came through. And I really appreciate having worked with you. I think our working relationship has just gotten better and better and better. It's really based on, I believe, mutual respect and trust for each other and the work we do and why we do it. So I want to say thank you to you. To Joe, just on Tuesday, this Tuesday, I walked by the auditorium on my way out to my car in the dark. And whose face do I see is Joe Howell interviewing a student, a mock job interview for Partners in Education. And that is you. You are your knowledge, your care, your compassion about people. I mean, you're just an incredible, got a gift for relationships and knowing people and going beneath the surface. And I think it's a
true rare gift and contribution that you make all the time, going the extra mile for people. The board has shared a lot about what you do. I will share with the board, though, that our SB CEO team of directors and managers, we had a retreat in the end of September. And that group of staff invited Joe Howell to come and paid tribute to Joe and made a lot of connections to partners in education, computers for families, all the letters for juvenile court and community schools. And at that retreat established the Joe Howell Legacy Scholarship with Joe's name to go to prioritize a student who's part of our juvenile court community system and to contribute to their advancement in career, college or career. So we want to thank you again, Joe, and congratulate you for that. Very special. And I want to say thank you to Michelle DeWerge, how she so deeply cared about her schools and trustee area. I so impressed her going out to Cuyama High School for the graduation, Cabrillo to the aquarium, serving on the CCBE board, as you said. And I really think that this Santa Ynez Bond Oversight Committee too. And something that I know that she and I have in common is the importance of accountability, especially fiscal accountability and taxpayer money. And you heard her say that a lot. And I really appreciated over the 4 years she served on our board budget committee. She asked a lot of really deep questions. And when she came forward in approval of our SBCO budget each year and every year, that endorsement meant a lot because it came out of a lot of analysis and a deep need to ensure there's accountability on behalf of the taxpayer. So I really appreciate Michelle's energy and focus. And I know that though she couldn't be here, she said to us, I'm going to serve until my last day of service. So we really appreciate, all of us, I know, appreciate her. Vida and Nadra, congratulations. Again, it takes courage and it takes a lot of courage, I think, to put your hat in the ring. Your ring was shorter than Nadra's ring, but you both really showed courage and perseverance. And to Judy and Mary Beth and Nadra and Vida, what role models you will continue to be as we serve and onboard 3 new board members here in December. So to Joe and to Bruce and to Michelle, I would like to say on behalf of our whole team at SBCEO, how much we appreciate you and wish you the very best. And thank you. Thank you.
And now, in the interest of what used to be a federal communication regulation, we will give equal time to Mr. Porter and Mr. Howell. Bruce, would you have anything you'd like to say?
I'll be short and concise.
And I will listen carefully.
Yeah. So obviously, this is such an honor to serve on this board. One of the less known boards, but one of the most important boards in terms of impact on students in our community. My family's 20 plus years of SBCEO service has been absolutely wonderful in every single aspect. So to the staff, I would say, holy mackerel, what a bunch of professionals of what you do, your passion for students, your passion for the organization, through some really tough times of personnel shortages, COVID. I mean, I think I know me sitting on this board, I only know 1/100th of how hard this job is for you all, but I so much appreciate it. So I want to say thank you to every one of you as well. To my fellow board members, we keep talking about each other and everything, but real quick, Mary Beth, the tentacles you have in the community in so many aspects are so amazing, and how they inform your decisions and how you talk about things on the board has been really insightful and deeply appreciated by me. Joe, the way you think like a lawyer, and the things you say are always so profound. It's like, he's got a point. So that's always very much appreciated, and it has definitely changed some of my opinions on things I should be thinking about. Vida, we have always needed better representation, deeper representation, more knowledgeable representation from the North County. You have brought that to us, and I encourage you to keep pushing that forward as you sit out your next 2 years, and hopefully beyond that. Nadra, it's been so much fun getting to know you. You brought a very different element to the board that I didn't know we were missing, but we were, in terms of your cards, the way you think about things, our personal conversations about things we do disagree with. It's, you know what? That's okay. That's what makes things kind of fun and wonderful and special about the way we do things together, and come to some great decisions about the way we do things. Michelle, we've been doing board stuff for a decade and a half, one way or the other. I want to thank you for our short service together here on the county board. You know, let's be honest, we're doing things today that we would not have been doing if it were not for you pushing us. And I deeply, deeply appreciate that. And to my table mate, President Judy, I want to thank you so much for your leadership, the way you think about things, the way you represent your part of North County. I hope you're very, very proud of all the things you've accomplished and the way you have knit together this very interesting group of people to really do some amazing things.
Thank you.
And Susan, especially to you, it's been a real honor working with you. Even before I was on the county board here, SBCEO is in good hands. You're a very special leader, and I have really appreciated the way that you have interacted with the board as separate entities, but also the way you've really made it very easy and very respectful. So to you, I say thank you.
And yay! We've never done it.
You know, this is during president and board comments, and I don't often say things, but I realize this is my last chance. I should say something. And I promised Judy I would be brief, and I immediately thought about the rule of threes. And if you Google it, there really is the rule of threes, and it applied to every speech, every set of comments Peter McDougall ever had.
It did.
There were three. So to honor Peter in the rule of threes and to be brief, 3 points. So looking back at my 25 years, which a lot of years, I think our 2024 year term we had some of the most meaningful highlights and lowlights. We had a lot of successes. We had tempered by some big challenges, but I think we made it through as a group. I really appreciate the opportunity I've had to work with so many wonderful trustees. So certainly everyone here, and Michelle, and I guess, what's that, 14 others, 21 others. In 1999, I was the Vida. I was the new kid on the block. I was a youngster joining the board. There were lots of veteran trustees, been here many, many years. Bill Cerrone was a superintendent. He was the longest serving superintendent in the county superintendent in the state of California, which is really something. I learned a lot from all of those people, from each of those people. And what I really tried to do is follow the lessons that I learned from them, and to really model the behavior that they would demonstrate every meeting. Finally, is the most important thing. I want to focus on Superintendent Salcido in the entire SBCEO staff. I get emotional at the what I think, I don't see it coming, so it's coming, so I'm gonna.
Do you like some water?
No, I'm gonna. But I want to really focus on all of you. Our success is really because of all of you. I've been in town, Santa Barbara, 50 years. I work with so many organizations, for-profit, nonprofit, big ones, small ones. I've never worked with any organization that has so many people that are so talented, dedicated, and selfless. So I think I'm going to stop there. So thank you. I have so much pride in this organization and everything that all of you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
And please, everyone, if you can stay for a few minutes after the board meeting tonight, we're going to have some wonderful buns. Buns. Actually, they're mini buns, but we're going to have a little bit of casual social gathering. So here in the boardroom. Okay, let's move right along to item number 10.
Thank you very much. I would like to just open the floor, see if there's any questions or comments about the superintendent's report first, see if there's anything.
It was attached
It
to
was
our
attached.
board book,
Yep,
so
a nice-
everything was there.
And and I will simply say a huge thank you to the team who helps me with the work of putting the work and then the work of putting the reports together. And with that, I'll leave it there.
Any questions for the superintendent on her report? Okay, then we'll move on to the consent agenda. We have the minutes from our last meeting. We have registration of credentials, declaration of surplus, and an issuance of a high school diploma to, I'm going to use his name, David, who wrote a really nice letter to attach to his comment.
I will move to approve.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think it fits this discussion. I'm going to make it for this discussion.
Okay.
I wrote my last one of these letters, the original copy to Anna, and I am literally and figuratively passing the responsibility file to Nadra. I spoke to Susan about the idea and asked Nadra, and she said she would be delighted to
Very
continue the tradition in her own way. And as soon as I hit send on my computer, I'm going to send you 13 examples of prior. But I talked to Nadra a little bit about it. I did it a certain way. She's going to do it her own way, but I really appreciate her enthusiasm in taking it on. Thank you.
Does that qualify as artificial intelligence? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on our consent agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. And now on our information items, we have our standard personnel report. We also have a little bit different Williams legislation school report as they've done their visits to the different schools. And I just want to remark on the item that was in the board book, Bridget, your letter explaining the schools they evaluated and our score, if you want to call it that, or how we did, how the schools did on those items. Excellent report. Couldn't have been better. Thank you very much. Okay, and number 17, we have a beautiful board orientation binder and a revised web page. And Joe, would you like to make any comments, present this, or?
I will make some comments, and then Vida and Nadra can make comments as well. This project started a while ago. We narrowed it down and we said, let's focus on updating the web page and a binder. On all of everything you see, to the extent you like the content, the appearance, everything, huge shout out to Cami Barnwell and Delaney Patrick raise your hands and,
Yay.
they met with us, listened to our input and, just did a really outstanding job. Starting with a great product. I'll let Vita talk about the binder on the web page. We looked at a lot of other county ed offices. Some had some really compelling features. So they took all of that, formatted in a way that they thought would satisfy our request. We had a meeting, Judy joined in the meeting. We made some changes. All of those are reflected in the quote sandbox version, meaning, well, you know what a sandbox is. So if anyone has comments on that, the most efficient thing we've decided is you make your comments directly to Susan. Susan can address those comments perhaps with Tammy and Delaney to tweak things. And then at the December meeting, it will be an action item if it's ready. I'll let Vita talk about the handbook, which he took
Yeah.
leadership role on.
Well, it was probably out of necessity because being new, and when I found out that there was a position open that I may want to apply for, I began a treasure hunt to find information about the county schools board, and there wasn't a lot of information out there. So in doing that, and being on the school board in Santa Maria, we had begun the development of the handbook. So it became a little bit of a orchestrated, thank goodness for these two ladies too, chore to get something done. In order to have a successful board, something that has processing and something that has an organized onboarding look to it, we have to have content. And so in doing that, the development of this handbook began. And it really has developed into a fine notebook, a nice piece of work that will get us clarity in making sure that we don't forget to do what we need to do. And it actually brings meaning to what the school board is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, there are definite pieces in here that have to be looked at and reviewed. And as we begin to get new members coming aboard, this gives us time to do an onboarding process, to do an orientation, to even do a meeting / retreat / gathering of interests as we move through this piece of literature here that will be our binding comfort to add to, which reminds me, we need one more page. All the AI terminology needs to go in here too. And we will actually actively participate in bringing it into a stronger view. So I thank you, the committee, and Joe, thank you for herding us through this because it was a lot. And ladies, my goodness, it was gigantic. A gigantic tour, actually chore. So thank you. And here you have it, and we need feedback.
Well, I think the important thing for all of us to remember and future board members is that this is a living document.
Definitely.
And it needs maintenance. It needs being fed and taken care of and nurtured. So, and I think that responsibility should be with the board to do that on an ongoing basis. So we accept the challenge. Thank you very much. Any further comments?
Just a quick, as always, I was thinking I had some notes, but no surprise, Susan sent me something this morning at 10:16. You might mention that all these bullet points, which is great. The maps, we talked about so Delaney on the interactive map they can reach now by going on the sandbox, correct? And there's so much nuance to the maps, and you look at them, and I guess I'm mostly saying this to Mary Beth because I think they have had a chance in the meeting to look at them, but there are a lot of things, information items, you can put icons in the legend at the bottom for this and that. We decided to take a lot of stuff out. It's just basically the schools. They don't need to know where the car washes are. But so the maps are being fine tuned and that's it. So any feedback on anything, like everyone sending to a single point, which is Susan. She can take it, work with Tammy and Delaney and see what needs to be done and then go from there.
Well, accolades to this committee. Thank you. You've done an excellent job. Thank you so much. A lot of work. And to Tammy and Delaney, without whom I know it would not have happened. Definitely an important part of the process. Okay, then we will move on to action items. And number 18 is a resolution to exempt to the separation from service requirement to hire a state teacher retirement annuitant to a position. And if it's pretty self-explanatory, if anyone has any questions, please speak up.
I'll move to approve.
Second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Okay, Mrs. Alvarez Flores,
Aye.
Mrs. Cardy,
Aye.
Ms. Ehrman,
Aye.
Mrs. Frost,
Aye.
Mr. Howell,
Aye.
Mr. Porter.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Motion passes.
And now I'm going to ask if Mary Beth would like to, as the head of the salary committee, if she would like to make comments about item number 19.
Thank you, Ms. Frost. Mari Gonzalez has put together an interesting chart of the history of the superintendent base salary. And our job as a salary committee, we met, and the purpose of that was to consider a salary adjustment for our superintendent. And the board salary committee has recommended that the board approve the same salary increase for the superintendent that was negotiated between this office, SBCEO, and the two bargaining units for the next 3-year period. And those levels are 8% increase in 24, 25, 4% in 25, 26, and 4% in 26, 27, making the salary for the superintendent for 24, 25, $306,812, retroactive to July 1. And the same one-off, one schedule stipend was given to all employees, except for the superintendent in 23, 24, in the amount of $5,000. That is our recommendation. As I mentioned, Mr. Porter moved, Vita Flores seconded, and then now it comes before you.
Do I hear a motion?
As a member of the committee, I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
A second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. And now a pretty standard, at this point, I don't know if any of us has signed up to go to the CSBA and AEC in December, but if any of us do, this motion is to approve reimbursement of actual and necessary expenses for us to attend that conference. So may I get a motion
So moved.
and a second?
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Notice of correction. We've added an item to the agenda regarding the awarding of a contract without bidding and this is a sad, sad story. It truly is. Susan, would you like to go into any necessary explanation or clarification on this?
I will say you are so right. It's really unfortunate. And the entire wing of our SBCO office, which is the internal fiscal wing, just everyone had to leave. You see in the resolution, all that needs to take place. I will say what we didn't include, but Steve Torres has, estimated the total dollars of the change will be over 250,000, I believe, right? Yeah, because of the complete move, overhaul, furniture, carpet. I mean, it's a big deal. Having said that, our staff are displaced. It is crunch time all the time for internal fiscal services. It's been a crisis, I would say, that we need to fix. And therefore, we're coming to you for the resolution. But should you have any questions about it or anything that you'd like to ask or say, please do. And our team would be happy to respond.
Where are they now?
They're in different places. Some are remote, some are in the cabinet conference room, some are here on campus, others are remote. We're having to just, and it isn't ideal because you're having to have people with very little space just working together in a very small room. And actually, we just have portables that came on campus today, I want to say. So we have some portables that have come on and so we'll be moving. Yeah. Moving our stuff.
The project is expected to take
Yeah, that's a great question. In terms of a timeline, maybe Mark or Steve can share through January.
so almost 3 full months, more than 3 full months. I want to appreciate whoever has the clout to get the people who were doing the drilling to stop at 2 o'clock. Sorry, it's going to delay the work for another 3 hours, but thank you. That must be lovely to work with all day. Any comments or questions about this? May I hear a motion
Move approval.
and a second? Any discussion? Hearing none, all those, we do a roll call.
Okay, Mrs. Alvarez Flores,
Aye.
Mrs. Cardy,
Aye.
Ms. Ehrman,
Aye.
Mrs. Frost,
Aye.
Mr. Howell,
Aye.
Mr. Porter.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes.
On future agenda items, the board organizational committee, yeah, you're not done yet.
What's going on? I'm ready.
We'll meet, and before December, we will get a revised, they'll meet before December and we will get a revised Do you want the notebooks left so that we can reuse them? Yes.
Well, they may be modified, so my thought would be
Yeah.
That would be great. We can provide
Okay.
those if you have them. That'd be great.
And we'll seek approval from the new board in December. And if you have any comments on it, which if we're gonna leave it, that's gonna be hard to do. Maybe we'll take it with us and maybe the insert could be sent out and then we could be responsible for putting.
Sounds
it in
great.
The book
Yeah,
ourselves.
that would be
I
no
think
problem.
we can handle
Okay.
that. Okay. Any other future agenda items? Yes.
Mrs. Frost, I know that one of the topics you wanted to bring forward about the board organization committee meeting prior to December was that in December, the board has its organizational meeting dates, committees, and its slate of officers. So there's a lot of changes happening on the board, we know, but Judy, if I can just speak for you, if there's
Absolutely.
interest in serving as a president or vice president or changing committees, this would be the time to share it. You could share it with myself and Judy. We'll bring it forward to the board org committee. Joe is chair of that committee now, and Nadra and Vita, you are serving on that committee. We'll be meeting in December prior to the December 13th meeting.
Excellent. Okay, and before I get a motion for adjournment, what time is the December meeting? Do we know for sure?
The 2 o'clock
Here,
meeting.
2 o'clock. Okay. Right. Here. Friday.
It's a Friday,
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th at 2 p.m.
Yeah, very, and a brand new board. Okey doke. Sorry.
Good luck with that.
Miss last words. Okay, I now am calling for a motion for adjournment. And a second.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
I knew it. Adjourn.